Really? Sorry.
Super
Is that
pro.
the first? Super pro we are here at the world famous Comedy Store. This is the Comedy Store podcast. I'm Eleanor Kerrigan.
I'm Rick Ingram.
And we have the great Blake Clark with us.
The great.
Yeah, it's a big
How
deal
about
for
mediocre,
me.
Blake?
How
How about?
I'm a big fan.
You don't want the expectations to get too
yeah,
high.
Right? No. Yes.
I'm kind of like a creepy fan.
Really.
Yeah. I know it sounds weird, but like when I first started here, everybody would talk about Blake Clark, and so it was.
Really.
Yeah,
Comedy
Wow.
Store royalty.
that's
Oh,
true.
stop it!
I've never
Blake
met
Clark
you, but
has
I've
the
just heard
not
stories.
even
Best
close.
stories,
Yeah.
right?
Not even that. There's a lot of stories about me here.
Carl, we had
I wouldn't
Carl
call me.
LaBeouf on,
Yes.
and Carl told some great stories about you.
Yes.
How you
but-
handed him the keys.
Yes, but I wouldn't say royalty.
I would. And
I remember
Rick
one
does.
time. This is how I was treated. Blank, you and Harris go to my house. I think there's some kind of animal in my attic.
I mean,
Was it
This-
Argus?
the true side.
Yeah, you just stepped on my
I'm so
joke.
sorry.
Yes.
He
No,
does
that was
Argus.
I was up there on the literally. This is what happened.
God.
I'm up there on the ladder. Andy Williams was her neighbor. He had already come over, and we told him we worked for
Andy
Mitzi.
Williams.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
she's got something in here. And Harris was holding the ladder, and I was up there, and he goes, "Do you see it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Argus." So I actually said that.
Don't tell Mitch I'm here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Argus, how are you? I didn't know you were coming down tonight.
Well, he knows about it.
He does a great Argus impression.
Do it.
Oh,
Good to be here tonight, everybody. I'm Argus Hamilton. Mitch has a great show lined up for you. This next comic coming to the stage, he's been raised here since he was a young pup.
wait a minute.
Put your hands together, welcome to the stage, Charlie Hill, everybody.
Argus, you say the same thing for every comic. That's awful.
I remember when you brought me up as raised as a young pup, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. And then the next night it was
Everybody,
someone else.
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That guy was a famous star in 40 by the time he got here. Well, Mitch raised him. She never met the guy.
Weird. Yeah, he always has the same. But you guys, you were here for Sammy's 90th birthday.
I did come for that. Yeah.
That's how long I've been trying to get you on the podcast.
Really?
We were going to do it that night, remember? And
Yeah.
then everything got
Something
screwed up.
happened.
But you left because they were putting these comics on that didn't know Sammy.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
And they certainly didn't even know Mitzi, let alone
I
how are they
know.
going to know
I
Sammy?
didn't know Polly.
Right, exactly. So when Rick went up, I wish you guys had stayed because he ripped everybody of it and then did a crazy
It was
Argus.
It was, first of all, I was so confused when I got there because they just called me and said I was on a show. And then they're like, it's Sammy's birthday. And I'm like, or am I supposed to tell
That's
a Sammy
kinda
story?
What happened to
'Cause-
me in the war? So it was Uncle Sam. They just called me up and said,
Should
we
be
got a
there."
birthday here, and it's being celebrated with
Well, you-
napalm in Vietnam, and you're invited.
Oh, wasn't that nice of
Oh,
them?
it was very nice.
Jesus. Were you really drafted?
Yes,
Whoa.
absolutely.
Oh, see, that's.
But I went to officer candidate school because I figured the longer I can stay in the States, the better chances the war would be over. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I went over there as a lieutenant and spent a year in the bush. And
That's
Jesus.
amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you for your service.
hey, it was my idea.
Well, what were
That's
you doing before you got drafted?
I was in college. I was in college.
Like a
I-
good
I
college
finished-
kid.
I finished college. I was going year round because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with my life because I was 22.
Yeah,
Who the hell
because you're
22
every
knows
kid.
what you
Yeah.
want to do. So I kept changing majors, and back then you had to have a major field. I had 200 and I don't know. I think you needed 180 hours to graduate, and I had 220 something, 225 hours or something. But I didn't have a major.
It wasn't focused. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So I was going year round, and then I finished on December the 14th, and January the 2nd, I was in the Army.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So enjoy your 2 weeks. Welcome to hell.
Yes, yeah. Basically, yes.
Jesus.
January 2nd, day after New Year's. I got to watch some of the bowl games, and then
Damn.
Yeah,
I was
right.
in the Army.
How many tours did you do over there? Or
Just
stay-
one.
Just one. Okay. I can't even imagine. That's insane. What made you get into comedy after that? I mean, I guess.
Did you go from?
No,
did you come
I
back
did a
and-
bunch of other stuff. My dad was a coach. He died when I was 14, and I thought I wanted to be a coach. And I met my wife right when I got home from Nam, and everybody hated us. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you had to deal with that kind of nonsense.
So when I met her, it was in November, and I'd already let my hair grow and had a mustache, and just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, learned to
Makes sense.
shut the F up. So we were sitting outside one night in Georgia. It was a balmy February night. And she said, "You have a lot of unresolved anger." And I thought, "No, I don't. No, I don't." But what I had was unresolved rage.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
get
I
yours
was
is
I was not dealing with being who I was very well. And I just said, you know, I better tell you this before you find out. And so I figured I'd say it, and she's going to tell me to hit the bricks. And so I went, right before I met you, and I almost said I was in prison.
Just to play.
Because I thought you would accept that better.
If she just thinks I'm a criminal.
Right, yes. So I went, right before I met you, I was in Vietnam. And she said, "Well, that explains a lot."
Wow.
What?
Good
How long
lady.
have you guys been together at that point?
47 years. I asked her to marry me the next week.
Amazing.
How long had
47
you been
years.
together when you told her you were in Vietnam?
A week.
A month, and,
a month.
about a month and a half, 2 months.
Oh wow,
Yeah, something like that.
man, that's great. I mean, yeah,
Well, I took a
That-
chance.
that's keeping it to the.
But then I found out her father fought in both World Wars. Both her
Oh.
uncles fought in World War II.
So she understood.
Yeah, so
She understood you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's what you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Is somebody that
right.
understands you
Oh,
and
she-
can deal with it. Yeah.
I always say she mended my shattered soul.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
She's shaking her head, but I think you're right.
She is.
No, because
She keeps thinking, "No, it ain't mended yet."
Yeah, that's what she
Got a lot
meant.
of work.
working on it.
Yes.
47
It's a work
years.
in progress.
By 50
Wow.
years, we'll
Yeah,
figure it
yeah,
out.
Maybe. You got a long way to go yet, troop.
That's amazing. Well, so how did you wind up getting into stand-up? How does that even come to fruition?
It's weird. I tried a bunch of things,
Okay.
and I didn't really enjoy anything. So then this friend of mine who and all these people are dead now, but this friend of mine said, "Hey, you know, why don't you come?" Because I used to do characters, and you know,
Okay.
just
Goofing around with
goofing
people.
around with people.
Yeah.
And he said, "We got this play called Norman, Is That You?" And one of the guys is real gay. "Why don't you come read for it?" So I went, "I won't do that." So I went. And I
We
did
want
it.
you to be the really gay
Yeah,
guy.
I was.
Oh, okay.
I read the part and I got it.
Amazing.
And yeah. And then I it was fun. I enjoyed it doing, you know,
A great
doing
fun
a play.
character. Yeah.
And as it turns out, weird as it may sound, the people who wrote Norman, Is That You? Ron Clark and Sam Bobrick, I ended up doing a pilot with them at NBC
Wow.
years and years later.
That's
So
cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I know.
It's a
And
small
I didn't even
world.
think about it. We're sitting in their office working on this pilot for NBC, and you know, they had a shelf with books and stuff on it, and then they said, "Norman, is that you?" The script. Now, "Norman, is that you?" That's the first play I ever. You guys wrote this.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I looked. They said Ron Clark, Sam Bobrick, and that's you guys. You're Ron. You're Sam. You wrote this. So yeah, that's weird.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Did you make the pilot?
Yeah, we made the pilot, and it got on. Back then, they did excuse me, I don't remember eating that. They did Dead Pilot Theater, so that's the only way it got on the air.
Oh.
So yeah, it
You
didn't
mean
get
they
picked
would
up.
play pilots that didn't make it?
Yeah.
Ah,
But now they just
interesting.
make pilots and then toss
let's
them.
just put it on a
But
shelf somewhere.
The thing is, it tested at like 89,
Okay.
and it was when NBC, and NBC was the #1 network then. And there was another show that tested at 91, and they put that one on, and it was Seinfeld.
Damn.
How dare they?
If they'd have put,
And no one ever watched it.
I know, yeah. Boy, they just give that guy everything.
Right?
No, it became one of the best sitcoms ever.
So this was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes. 86, 87, somewhere around
He's
then.
looking to you for help.
I don't remember stuff. I have to. I go. Who are you?
Shows your memory as well.
What's her kid's names? No, I remember stuff. I just don't
No, I
necessarily
get it.
remember the
The
chronology.
order. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. Because I worked here so long
Yeah.
as a waitress, and then left for a year, and then came back as a comic. That they all kind of run
Everything
together.
starts running together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then when you go on the road, like I started doing the road in '83, May of '83.
Wow.
Well, there wasn't really a road to do before.
right.
So, in fact, I did my fourth or fifth Tonight Show in May of '83, and I was working the front door, and that was a Friday, I guess, and these people came in. I went, "How many in your party?" And the guy started laughing. So that's good. This guy's laughing, and the show hasn't even started yet. Yeah. So I went, "Okay, how many in your party?" And he goes, "I just saw you on the Tonight Show Wednesday." And I went, "Oh, yeah, right. I did. Yeah, right. How many in your party?"
I'm still seeing you, sir.
That's right.
This is how life works, buddy.
So, right, you know. So he got all crestfallen and said, "I thought when you did the Tonight Show, you were a big guy." And I went, "I guess again, pal. How many?" I got him seated, and I was walking back, and I went, "Yeah, I think it's time for me to graduate." So that was a Friday. Saturday night, I told stand right there at the cover booth to the original room. I went, "Mitzi, I think I'm done." I told everybody I thought you were gonna graduate.
What year did you get here?
I started working the door in August of 1980.
Okay.
And
so
I was in the Army for 2
didn't
years,
take you
7
too
months,
long.
and 10 days, and I worked the door here for 2 years and 8 months.
And she gave you the keys to everything. She trusted you with her life.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that, but John Makowsky was the guy, the security guy, and he was a cop in Chicago, had been, and then he got a gig to go teach. Hi,
everybody.
What's wrong?
We're having some mic issues with this mic. So we're gonna switch
of course you are.
Oh my God!
It's not the mic, it's me. I used to go on 15th out of 18 comics in the.
Well, that's my spot.
I would be the only one whose mic would screw up.
Wait.
Nobody before me, nobody after me, just me. That's
Is
some
it
kind of negative energy.
the whole time?
I have
No,
Brett?
it's just been crackling a little.
that
bit.
crackles
Now,
goes in and out.
Instead of fucking with it, we'll just replace it with that one.
There you go.
That's a smart way
I'll
to
fuck
do it.
this one up too. Give me time.
But is all that messed up, or
It's fine. Keep going.
All right.
Brett? Don't get me angry. You know I don't deal well with
The
anger.
Eleanor's rage issues will come out, and
I'm
she
not
has no.
ever
She
had
a
a
lot
has.
of
war.
unresolved anger.
She has no one to
I
work
think
it
my
out.
Dad had the unresolved anger,
That's right.
and then had 10 kids, and so
And
it just
well,
trickled
so
down into all
trickle
of us.
down anger.
Yeah,
That's
Some of
the
us
worst
got it worse
kind.
than others.
Yes. I'm reading this great book right now. Where are you from originally?
South Philly. Sorry,
It's,
South Philly. I'm sorry,
South, well,
Philadelphia.
from the South.
South Philly, Philadelphia.
It's about a girl who lives in the marshes of North Carolina,
Oh wow.
and it's called Where the Crawdads Sing. It's really good. I really like the book a lot, but I lived on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, so I lived in the marshes.
That's
And-
amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. But she reminds me a lot of Sharon, my wife, and she's one of like 5 or 6 kids. But anyway, everybody goes away and leaves her, and she's left alone as of starting at 7, and she basically raises herself. And I'm about halfway through it, so I don't know what happened. You know. I
Guys,
figure she lives.
Stay tuned. We'll
Yes.
no, I'm just, we're gonna
Yeah, I'll
let
come
Blake
back
finish the
I'll
book,
come back in.
and we'll have him.
Let's see,
do the
half a
second
book,
half.
about 8 years. No, I'm telling you.
That sounds like you're on my reading schedule.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, so
I'm
what were we talking
terrible at
about?
that. Good question. Oh, being here, you worked here for 3 years. You said
Almost 3 years, 2 years and 8 months.
Okay, and then
But there was no road until about 83. That's when they all started opening. I mean, there was Chicago, there was Houston, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, That's about it.
But you couldn't go like
No.
Georgia,
I know.
Like that.
Then they all started opening up. In fact, the first club I played, other than the Comedy Store, was the Punchline in Atlanta.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've done that club.
Yeah.
Well,
in
he's
Sandy,
moved
the
it a
one in
few
Sandy
times.
Springs. Yeah, this was
okay.
one, the original one in Sandy Springs.
He's had to move it.
Yeah.
That's weird, but yeah.
In fact, I had to miss the Tuesday and Wednesday, because back then you did Tuesday through Sunday, and Monday was dark. Yeah.
Wow.
I had to miss Tuesday and Wednesday because I was filming the last episode of MASH. I lucked out and got the last episode of MASH. Yes,
How
in
cool
history.
is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How cool is that? What
that
did you
was
play?
pretty
I'm
cool.
surprised I didn't see it. That's a weird one because I love MASH.
And also they had to bring back everybody. It's like a 2.5 hour special show.
Okay.
And they had to bring back everybody that had been on there, and I was one of the only people that had never been on the show. So
Got
they
to
brought
be.
me in as this guard that was putting the Chinese band. Did you see it?
I did. I can't
Okay,
remember it, but
Charles Winchester
Yes.
was teaching the Chinese band to play Mozart. And the guy
yeah.
put him on the truck, and as they pull away, they play Mozart. I was the guy that stuck him on the truck.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, we'd have never.
Nah.
Like Dice was in it, and I didn't know until years later. But I
He
remember
was
the episode.
Dice was in.
He was in the Halloween
yes,
episode.
yes, and who else?
But that was a big
Ron
deal.
Howard was in it.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
My brother Charlie still watches it on a loop. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of his favorite shows. So he's always like, "Guess who else was in MASH?" Every week he finds a new person, and I'm like,
it's
"That's
really
hilarious."
weird. And you see people. I mean, Ron Howard was already a big deal.
Mm-hmm. So you would notice that.
Yeah.
But I didn't even recognize Andrew.
I know.
So
I can't remember what he played. A wounded guy.
Yeah, but
But he had to.
everybody
He's
was
in the hospital.
Everybody was.
No, he played a guy with tonsillitis.
He was either injured or a coward.
Right,
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
One or
I've
the
been
other.
there.
Hiding out for a minute.
I did that. I hid a lot. We did a lot. I could hide so well the rain couldn't find us.
That's amazing.
Oh man. You don't know what you can do until you have to.
That's true because I mean,
take off
you
this
got it.
fucking coat.
You
Can I
poor-
say fucking?
You can say whatever you
Okay,
fucking
fine.
want. We
Yeah.
also have a disclaimer
Yeah.
because we got in trouble. The guy who's out there now talking about lizard people, he got us in trouble. I'm just kidding. So we have a disclaimer.
There used to be a lizard in Nam.
Okay,
and this
a
was
real live one.
Yes.
Okay.
And they said it's a fuck you lizard.
Okay.
And we heard about it when I was in training and all that stuff. You didn't believe it.
Right. You're
Yeah,
like,
sure it is.
bullshit.
Because the joke was there was a re-up bird, which re-up meant re-enlist.
Yeah.
And he said you could hear him at night in the jungle. Re-up, 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 at you, at you, at you. So it's
I love
re-up,
it.
fuck you,
Yeah.
re-up, fuck you. So we're getting ready to move out on this. We were on the Laotian border. I was getting ready to take out a patrol, and I heard this. There really is a fuck you lizard. I guess they're still there. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably just cursing people who are coming through there.
If anyone survived, it's the fuck you lizard.
Probably so.
Interesting.
It's
That's an interesting.
And then there was another time,
The millennials are offended by the lizard, obviously.
of course.
Why
You
wouldn't
can't
they be?
say that to people.
Piece
Can't if
of
you're a
shit.
fucking lizard.
Say whatever you want. You're a
That's
fucking
right.
lizard.
You can say anything.
This is a lizard in a jungle in Vietnam. If anybody can say fuck you, that lizard can say.
Well, it's inappropriate because they're saying it to Vietnamese.
That's
people.
true, and that's
Well,
they're
I
a
shot
minority.
Vietnamese people.
Please.
It's okay if they just say it to straight white men, but
Right.
yeah.
Everybody else.
Okay, I get it now.
Just
I say I was always in trouble,
Yeah.
even as a lieutenant.
yeah.
Okay, I've been out in the damn bush
Okay.
for 72 days straight.
Shut it.
That's 72 days without a hot bath. We bathed in the streams and stuff, but no hot shower.
Yeah.
72 days without a hot meal. 72 days with only one change of clothes. Because we'd wash our clothes, when we bathed,
In
we'd
the
wash our
stream,
clothes,
yeah.
and then you'd sit around naked with your M16, clean your M16. Hopefully nobody
Yeah.
attacked you, anything. Anyway, so I'm coming back to the rear, Quang Tri Combat Base, on the way for my R&R to Australia. And one of these, we call them REMF, R-E-M-F, rear echelon.
Okay.
Guys in the rear echelon motherfuckers. Guys in the rear with the beer and the gear. They didn't go out.
Right.
They didn't. You know, the only time they ever saw a
Combat
rifle
or anything.
shot, was from a chopper or something flying over. So I come back and they go, "Hey, how about you be officer of the guard tonight?"
Okay.
And I went, "What? 72 days I've been sleeping on the ground in the bush, pulling leeches off of me, dodging mortar rounds. You want what?" He goes, "Oh, look, you don't have to do anything. You just sleep in the bunker, and it's okay. You don't have to really do anything." I went, "All right, fine. Because I ain't doing anything, goddammit."
As long as I don't have to do anything,
right.
I'll do it.
So I go out there. I'm going to go to sleep because it's inside. It's a bunker.
Yeah.
It's inside, about the size of this studio here.
This bunker we're in now.
And there's a cot, so I lay down on it and I go to sleep. And I hear this. The fuck is that? All night long.
Oh my God.
And there's some kind of, I don't know what it is. We call them prairie chickens. I don't know what they were. There's some kind of bird, some kind of fowl, Vietnamese thing, and that's what the noise it makes. And it goes on all night long. So finally, when it gets dawn, they had these big, tall, like 85 to 100-foot tall observation towers, artillery observation towers that you get up in and you call in artillery. So I climb up into that thing, and I'm looking, and as the day is getting brighter, you know, I look down there, pow, feathers.
Yeah.
So I, God damn it! So I climb back down the thing. I didn't realize that if you fire around on the bunker line, they have to come out and investigate why you fired. So I had to spend half the day out there waiting for him to come. And I just finally said, "I shot a goddamn chicken. He's out there somewhere if you want to go investigate.
Look for the pile."
I'm going back to my hooch."
To my hooch.
That was where we lived in a hooch.
Yeah. My dad's doing that right now, shooting birds in Rehoboth Beach that are bothering him. That his wife took the rifle away from him.
That's what my wife, that's what they tried to do to
Take
me.
it away.
Take your rifle.
Just a bunch of dead
will you
birds.
send me home, please?
It would be terrible if I were punished by being sent home.
I couldn't go back out to the bush.
Wait, did you get in trouble?
No.
No, of course not.
I said,
wait.
you know, I did these guys a favor, and I called them, this is a colonel.
Yeah.
I was a lieutenant. That's like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's like, I don't even know who to, like Jimmy Kimmel and a PA or something. You don't argue with the guy. You just, I said, "Look, you know, goddamn it, I came back here. They said, why don't you go out there and sleep on the bunker line so one of us doesn't have to?" And I went, "Fine, but all I'm going to do is sleep." And they went, "Okay." So he's going, "Who said this?" I went, "That captain over there," which was true.
Yeah.
And he goes, "All right, go back to your hooch." And he was now, as I was riding in the Jeep, the colonel was real tall and the captain was a little short shit, and he was like had his heels locked together, and the colonel was over him like that.
Yeah. Just yelling.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So I like that colonel. I don't remember his name. I don't remember the captain's name either. So.
Well, they kind of it would come and go, right? Like they would come and go, wouldn't they? You would switch out, like.
No, I was pretty much there the whole time, and he was there. I think he was.
Because my dad's, it's like people.
Oh yeah.
transferred,
Oh sure.
So it was like moving around.
Right, yeah,
moving
we had 3 battalion commanders, but this guy was like the brigade.
Something, yeah.
Second in command. So he was there the whole time I was there.
Do you ever? I mean, obviously, I've heard you tell a few stories, but like you use them on stage.
What?
In your act?
Oh, some of them, yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Like, is that hard to do? Like
it was at first. When I first started
imagine.
doing it here, we were. When I moved out here for 6 months without her, and then she came out and she had a car. So I was out here 6 months without a car.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like being without feet.
Tell me.
It's not...
So one of the first things when she got here is I was taking the car. She was with me, and we went to a to a gas station, filling station.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to put the gas in, and the guy behind the bulletproof, plexiglass, he go, "Pay fire, you got to pay fire." I went, "What? Pay fire? You pay fire?" Saying I have to pay first.
Right.
Okay.
So I looked at her and I said, I should have killed him in Da Nang when I had the chance. So she goes, "That's funny."
I like that.
So I did it. I did it on stage. And then I started doing, because people still in 1981 still hated the Vietnam veteran. They still hated us.
Jesus.
So I started talking about being a Vietnam veteran, and next thing you know, old Blake's doing the Tonight Show.
Well, you got
no agent, no manager, nothing.
Did they see you here?
All these people are dead now. Jim McCauley, he saw me and he said, "Why don't you put together a spot?" And I did, and he didn't like it. So I figured, well, that's that. Then, working the door, I'm here every night. He comes back in, he goes, "When are you going to showcase for me again?" I mean, any other comic may have never seen the guy again.
Right.
But I'm here.
Right.
And I always took care of him. I always got his little drink that he wanted and got his table and everything. And
because you knew who he was.
Yes, I knew who he was. And then, I was raised in the South, and I was in the military, and you treat people with rank, with respect.
There you go.
An unheard of principle in modern
times.
Yes,
we might get some
yeah.
yelping about that. What's respect? This is ridiculous. Who are you people?
It's the way you should treat somebody who can either help you or fuck you in the ass.
There you go. Either way, you should
So if you
respect
speak them respectfully, they might help you.
Yeah, maybe.
Or
at
if they
least
fuck you
just
in the ass,
yeah.
they might at least use a condom.
Yeah,
Or
so
lube it
slightly
up
kinder.
first.
Anything.
I'm sorry.
So no, I
Fair.
treated him nice, and and
Yeah.
then I see him. It's like 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later, and he goes, "When are you going to showcase for me again?" And I thought you didn't like me. He goes, "I didn't like your choice of material that night.
That's it, yeah.
Do it again." So I did it again. Got the Tonight Show.
No, were you a regular at that point? Like, did Mitzi make you a regular?
Yeah.
Quickly?
Yeah, but I was still working the door.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
I was
God.
by that time. That would have been in probably May of '82. By that time, I had a recurring role in Remington Steel.
Nice.
Amazing.
I worked the door here, and I locked up. So there were times when I would only get like 4 hours sleep a night, and that was usually leaning up against the wall out there, the back door, or in my dressing room waiting for them to, bring
Come
me
and
out
get
to
you.
shoot my one scene on Remington Steel that week. So it was pretty
you
tough.
were on TV and still seating people.
Mhm.
See, I didn't think.
'Cause,
I thought in the '80s
she
that was a little
working-
better.
She was working and I was working, and together
Wow.
we kind of put it. We had one kid at that time, so we kind of made ends meet, but not real good.
Yeah.
Mitzi didn't pay me a whole lot of money.
Oh, we joke about that. Like
Yeah.
now, these kids get hourly. It's
Here's a funny thing. So we had a kid. So she would go to work in the daytime, and then I'd fix supper. And when she'd come home, we'd have like maybe 35, 40 minutes to have dinner and spend a moment together with the kid. And then I was off to come work
here.
Yeah. And so that went on for quite a while, many months, say 8 months.
Okay.
Then my son goes back to Georgia to visit his grandmother. So he's not there, so she can, come with me to the store.
Whoa.
So I go, "Yeah, why don't you, okay, come with me." And she goes, "No, you just go and I'll come later," and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, long story short, I know, too late. She comes to the college. She comes here. I'm on the back door, so I take her in. I'm going, "This is the original room. This is the dungeon. This is where we are now." Then, so I take her back into the bar. And everybody in the bar goes, "Cheryl! Cheryl!" I'm going, "There's something you need to tell me?" All the barbacks knew her.
Yeah, why?
Because she was the purchasing agent at this, where they worked during the day.
Oh, that's okay. So you knew.
So
Mr.
they worked
Pete
in the
and
way.
all those guys?
Yes.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So they worked.
amazing.
They worked down in the warehouse, and she was always having to go down to the warehouse to check this and that. And she would sign stuff SHARO. You know, N. The N was just kind of a dash, so they called her Cheryl. Cheryl. Going, what the? Everybody here knows her.
That's hilarious. Yeah. When I started here, Mr. Pete was still behind the bar, and Harris Pete was on the front
Harris
door.
Pete.
So we had a Mr. Pete was a big, like you couldn't say Mr. Pete and think Harris. It was the Asian guy. Like it would just be a constant.
Yeah. And I remember too.
And you worked with Kurt.
Yes,
Captain
I did.
Kirk.
Yes, I did. Kurt.
You don't know who am I.
You can say that. Nobody else. Nobody else. You say, okay, you say. Nobody else say that to me. You understand? I go, yeah, I get it.
Oh my God, we fought like cats and dogs, me and Kurt.
Yeah.
Did you have to work with Kurt?
No, he was gone by the time
Please.
I got here.
Terrible.
Who? Ted was the first manager.
Oh, okay.
Then Kurt took over from Ted. Ted was great. I love Ted. Kurt was a little.
I've heard good stories
We called
about him.
Kurt Pol Pot behind his
He
back.
was just a little.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah,
We called him Captain Kirk. Yeah.
So they used to be. I was telling the guys out there.
Definitely. Like a Napoleon. He was
Yes.
so little.
Oh yeah.
I remember him yelling at Judy Gold, who's 6'4".
I know.
And he was like, "You don't know who am I?" She goes, "I don't care who is you." We were dying.
You know, Ollie Joe picked him up over his head one time.
Amazing.
So I don't give a fuck if you know karate. What are you gonna do now? It's got him over his head.
He was short. He was little.
So yeah, he wasn't even 5 feet.
Mm-mm.
Maybe been 5 feet.
But he was tiny
That's
too.
still a tiny man.
So they used to have a payphone right on that wall out there.
Yeah, they didn't
I
get
used
rid
to-
of it until like 2007.
And I used to sit on the bench and lean against I was working all day coming here, and I would lean against the phone and snooze out, a little bit. Now, I was in what was called an air mobile unit in Vietnam, so we were always chopper sound, you know. And so I'm there, I'm about half asleep. The door's open to the back door, and I can hear choppers flying up there in the hills, the Hollywood Hills there, you know. So I kind of opened my eyes, and two of the guys, two of the barbacks who are all Thai, are walking out carrying a plastic trash can full of empty bottles, and they're talking. And well, if you don't know Thai, it sounds very much like Vietnamese. Hearing this, I open my eyes and hear these two guys look like a mortar base plate and the choppers, and I went like that, and they jumped, and the bottles fell all over the place.
Jesus.
So from then on, for weeks after, they go, "Well, break. Make sure break awake. We're taking out empty. Wake up, break.
Wake up, break.
Wake up, break.
Don't wake up, break. You're not the ones to wake up, break.
Let him sleep.
Find Ollie Joe. Have him wake him up.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else worked here with you? I mean, was Ollie Joe working or
No.
doing
Ollie
stand-up?
Joe was a comedian. The door was me and Harris, Carl Wolfson, Tom Wilson, Sam Kennison, Carl LeBove. Wow, I can't remember the who else.
That's a pretty good crew.
Yeah,
That's an insane asylum.
And with Sam, there used to be a friend of mine who got me jobs all the time. You know, paying gigs for comedy, and got me a job working in a T-shirt store on Hollywood Boulevard. And he's just a great guy. He's like one of my best friends in the world, even still today. And I tried to get him on here, and he had real long hair, and Mitzi didn't like it.
Okay.
So she go, "Nah, he's gonna cut his hair," and he didn't want to cut his hair. So I'm purposefully not telling you his name yet.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So yeah. So he was a real good friend of mine, and like I said, it got me lots of paying gigs and all this stuff. And I couldn't even return the favor.
Oh, no.
So Kennison was running Westwood. They had a club in Westwood. So I told Sam, this guy's a good kid. He's funny and he's a good guy. You know, he said, "Yeah, bring him out and put him on." So he would put him on out at Westwood. Mitzi goes there one day, and there's this guy on the stage. And what's he doing here? And Sam just said, "You told me I'm running this place. Well, I think he's funny. Nobody goes on unless I say so." And then Sam said, "Well, then find somebody else to run it." All right. So he could go. Anyway, he becomes a big time writer, and he goes to Saturday Night Live. This is years later, 91, 92.
Okay.
I'm doing this silly, stupid movie called Shakes the Clown. You ever heard of
amazing.
it?
No.
Bobcat Goldthwait wrote it, directed, and starred in
yeah.
it. Shakes the Clown. It was
I've never seen it. I only heard
It's
about
like
it.
two
because
rewrites
Bobcat.
away from being a very fun. It was about comedy, but it was all clowns.
Right.
So this kid gets Saturday Night Live as a featured player while we were doing Shakes the Clown. We played friends. We shared a honey wagon dressing room together.
Oh, okay.
Kid's name is Adam Sandler. I go, well, I know a lot of these writers. I'm with Fred Wolf. This is Adam Sandler. Adam, this is Fred. Gave him the phone, and they talked.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
That's amazing.
I
never knew he did.
Fred Wolf wrote Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, and he wrote
some of the greatest SNL skits.
yeah. And he also wrote the biggest grossing Sandler movie of all time, Grown Ups.
Grown Ups, yes. And what were they on? 3 of those now, right?
Yeah. So, and Joe Dirt and all of this stuff.
That was amazing because I was going to ask you how you got with Adam because he
Bobcat
was more New
Goldthwait.
York.
And he's much younger than me. He's 22 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So,
but
we became buddies, and
he had long hair.
Fred did, not Adam.
Oh, okay. So Fred is who you right.
I haven't seen Fred in a while. He may still.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he still does. I think his hairline's receded a little, but it's still long.
I can't think of what he looks like.
He's very
kind of skinny,
very skinny, and very
pointy face.
Yeah, pointy face.
Yeah,
but nice looking kid.
But obviously talented.
Yeah, very,
yeah,
very.
They always say your favorite SNL cast is the one that you watch when you're younger, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, for me, that whole cast is what I grew up on.
Right.
Yeah, that's his favorite. Yep.
Like, I was born in 81, so I was a young teenager in the 90s when it was Sandler and Spade and those guys. And then Fred Wolf was, like, the head writer at that point.
Yeah, and Rock was a writer to begin with, and then, God, who else? Hugh Fink and Smigel.
Yeah. Oh, Smigel's great. Yeah.
All those guys, man. I mean, that's comedy. That is comedy royalty.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah,
those
but you're
are
part
big
of them.
Deal.
Just so
I
you
just
know
them.
Yeah, but you're part of them.
I'm lucky enough to know them.
You did. I mean, there's so much that you've done, but Karen Babbitt.
Yeah.
Remember Karen?
Yes.
Amazing, hilarious lady.
Sweet lady.
She put on Facebook the other day something that a lot of Comedy Store guys did that I didn't know, and I just watched it. And
The Last Laugh?
Was it with the people with AIDS?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was one of those moments in time.
But what a beautiful thing to give back.
Well, she did it all. She put it all together.
Yeah.
And Carrie Snow and Durst,
right.
the Dursts
Steve
were
Bluestein.
there, and Bluestein,
Unbelievable.
and Jim Samuels, God rest his soul. And
well, what was it?
We took guys who had AIDS, and we spent a weekend teaching them to do comedy. So I had a guy.
No one was talking about this, though.
Right.
Like, no one would even say the word.
Right.
And these guys were real sick, obviously.
Yeah, most of them died.
Right.
And this was the last laugh.
Right.
Right.
And one of the things that happened, we were all sitting around, and the night before we met our guys. Oh, no, we'd already met them. And we were sitting around in a big group circle, and they said, each one was, why are you here? And, it came to me, and I said, well, I understand what you guys are going through, because people in, Vietnam veterans, we watched our brothers in arms and our friends die quicker than you guys are dying, and we were blamed for it.
Right.
Like you're blamed for what you have.
Right.
And people hated us, and that's why I'm here. But I went on to more.
No, it was amazing.
I said more.
Yeah, I watched
expounded
the
on it a
whole
little
hour
bit more. Yeah.
Thing
And everybody, oh God, damn! Can you say that again? I'm like, I don't think so.
You're like, no,
it's just
no,
like a
this-
one-time
Did anyone
thing.
record that?
I just, yeah.
One shot,
Why didn't?
guys.
Yeah, should have recorded it.
One shot you got.
It's a show business.
But it was such a beautiful thing. And I
Yeah.
thought, man, they went and they taught these guys all weekend. They taught how to formulate a joke, how to work through, like,
Right.
and Rick always says this on stage, like, this is how our process, how we work through our pain
Yeah.
is on stage, you know,
Right.
like different things that affect us. We don't know how to deal with it really. So we make a joke out of it and throw it out at you.
That's- yep,
and then you
that's-
hate me for it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
But-
and so what we did was we just talked to them and found out what their interests were.
Right.
And then
Some of the
You
jokes
know,
were hilarious. I'm
yeah.
like, dude, I'm stealing this. No, I'm kidding. But I was like, what? I mean, I was watching
These
like,
guys are dying.
what?
well, he won't be using that joke anymore.
I could switch that up.
Yeah.
Full Ollie Joe on.
Yeah, right, there you go. Hey, you're killing in Cleveland.
Yeah. I wish I met Ollie Joe. He's so. I
Oh, what
heard
a character.
So,
Yeah.
What a character.
Yeah, the first Ollie Joe stories I heard was when I did a weekend in La Jolla with Charlie Hill,
Oh, God damn,
And-
Charlie Hill.
and he kept
Greatest.
telling me all these
Yeah.
great stories. And the thing I remember is like he would tell you a story, but every once in a while, when it was a story he really loved, he would laugh the whole time, and his
Yeah.
laugh was so loud.
Yeah,
infection.
Charlie Hills?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I
We
was
were-
sitting in the condo going, I think the neighbors are going to complain because he's laughing so hard at his own stories.
Holy
They're
shit.
so good.
We
though.
were playing the Dunes in Vegas, the Comedy Store, the Dunes in Vegas. And I'm the only survivor of this group of people. Ollie
Whoa.
Joe, Charlie Hill, Vic Dunlap.
Oh,
Wow.
We're sitting in the room. Vic's across the street at the MGM opening for Tom Jones.
Oh, okay. He is
So we're sitting there talking. The maid had thrown out Ollie Joe's teeth.
No.
So he was going 55 because his front teeth.
So it was two front teeth.
Yeah,
missing?
3.
Oh,
So we were kidding him then
that's
55.
weird.
So we're all sitting there and they're talking about stuff and I'll go, they still throw things up when Tom Jones is on stage. And Vic Dunlap says, yeah, they throw up their room key or something. And then Charlie Hill goes, what do they throw up when you're on stage? And I said, lunch. And everybody laughed. And then Ollie Joe's talking about, I gotta lose weight. The other day, I was walking over to the Barbary Coast, which is right across the street from the Dunes. Then Dunes is now where Bellagio is. In fact, the Bellagio's fountain is the Dunes is in Bellagio's fountain. Barbary Coast is right across the street, and he goes, I was walking over to the Barbary Coast. I had to stop 4 times, and Charlie Hill said, twice for directions. I'm the only one in that room that's still alive.
Vic
Wow.
Dunlap, I got hired to do a roast of Vic Dunlap. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I never met Vic Dunlap.
Oh.
I don't think I should roast him. And I think it was my maybe first year in stand-up, but I was
Yeah.
like, man, it's a spot. I better take
Yeah,
it.
hell yeah.
Stage time is
He
stage
was
time.
so nice to
Yeah,
me.
he's a great guy.
I was like, wow, because I had not met him here. Like, he did work here
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh,
but
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
sure.
when I got here. He
Yeah.
Yeah, I only
wasn't
know him
coming
from
around.
the headshot, so
Yes,
he had to be
yes,
here
yes.
at some point.
But I just didn't know if he some people get past, they get their headshot up, and they came here like 1 week.
Right, yeah.
They're like, I don't like, or maybe Mitzi was like, you're not really working out.
Yeah.
That was her favorite.
She used to
thing
say,
do.
right, she used to say, I don't understand about all these ghosts. I never see any ghosts in here. I'm here all the time. I said, Mitzi, you'll make them showcase. Yeah, you need to haunt some of the smaller clubs. You're not ready to haunt. You're not ready to haunt the Comedy Store.
She used to scream at the ghost when I would be sitting in her office.
Yeah, but
They would play with her music.
Yes, she would claim that they weren't. Yeah, so yeah. No.
She would go, stop doing that, and I jump out of my
Right,
skin
yeah.
like, what? And like, because my back was to her file and stuff, and then she'd go, I would go, what happened? They're playing with my music. I'm like, oh shit, who's they? Should I leave? Like, I didn't know, but I've only had like weird experiences, like I feel cold or.
Oh no, there was all kind of shit.
I always thought it was funny. I started working here in 2002, and Mitzi was still coming in.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but she'd come in a couple times a month. And when she arrived, suddenly everyone turned into ghosts.
Right, yes.
No one couldn't find anyone.
Right.
They'd have the showcase list.
Yeah.
People, and they'd be like, all right, showcase list is done. Now all the doormen got to go up. And suddenly all 10 doormen were missing.
Right.
Which worked out for me because that's how I got
Yeah.
the showcase to get past. But it was literally, you're not going up tonight. And then I'm like, all right. And then they said, all right, 7 people are suddenly missing. You got to go up. I'm like, what? And then, you know, it worked out, but it was funny. As long as she still came around just to watch grown adult men
Right.
So funny.
terrified of a
I remember, her.
a 4'8"
4'8",
little
yeah.
old lady.
I remember
Aw.
one time, this was 90s, I guess. We were out front. But back when I first started working here, there was no out front. It was just the door that went out.
Right.
And it wasn't even glass. It was wooden.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd open the doors, you know, they would
I've seen
open
those
in.
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd just be there, and there would be dirt out there. In fact, sometimes comics would park right in front of the door and run in because
Jesus.
they were late. And then I'd have to move their car in the back and all this stuff.
Right.
They'd throw me, like Mitchell Walters, he'd throw me keys. I have a day job, you know, he'd throw me the keys. So I'd go park his car up the
I
street
love
or
Mitchell.
something. Anyway, so they had built that thing, and they had the outside bar, and then there was a line of people waiting, you know, get in the main room. And Mitzi's going, oh, look at it. It's great. Everybody's coming back to the store. It's wonderful. You know, they're all coming back. Look at it. It's great. It's because of the vibe here. It's because all this. So there was this little Cambodian woman who was selling hot dogs to the crowd.
Okay.
So at the time, I don't remember who it was. Walked up to her and said, Mitzi, I talked to the hot dog lady. She said no deal on the cut. Mitzi wanted a cut of the hot dog.
Oh my God.
Give me some.
Everybody's coming back to the store. While she's selling on my property, I should get part of it. She wanted a cut from the damn hot dog
Give me
lady.
30% of the hot dog money.
Yes.
I don't know why you're making fun of it.
I mean,
Good thing. I'm a businesswoman.
yeah, I can't believe that she allowed the hot dog lady.
Yeah, I'm
Mitzi.
surprised she didn't.
Well, she didn't after she wouldn't get a
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah.
She can sell down the street.
We need our own hot dogs.
She used to make us sell M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, plain
Yeah.
M&Ms, and regular peanuts. And I used to have to wrap them in red cellophane and sell them. She refused to do food.
And she found that old.
So you hear, like,
remember
a
when she
comic-
found the old peanuts?
Oh,
They were ancient. And she was, well, they're still good.
That's
You'd
like a
have to
fine
wrap
one.
them into things. And I was telling
no, we
Mitzi,
would
those
buy
things
new
could
ones.
be
We wouldn't let
poison.
her. Yeah.
Somebody might die from this.
Mitzi.
They're okay.
A squirrel wouldn't eat those
Yeah,
at this
right.
point.
No, they're
She
fine.
loved the peanuts. And she would always, like, I'd be working all day with her, and I'd be like, you know, hey, you want to take a break? We get some lunch? Oh, no. Okay. Does that mean I can't? No, you have to keep work. Okay. So just work through it, right? It'd be like 6 o'clock at night.
French
I've been
lunch.
there. Yeah. I've been there since 10. And I'm like, what? And she'd be like, you want an almond? I'm like, no. Nobody wants an almond. An almond?
One almond.
Be dead? Yeah. She would offer us
Oh,
one
you don't
with a little
wanna-
shaky
Here,
hand. One
eat this. I
almond.
can't eat it.
You eat more than one almond, you'll start looking like Roseanne.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. She would. If we would have like birthday cake, like remember Mike Becker?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So they gave Becker a big birthday cake, and at the time I was working for her during the day, and I think Freddie Soto was the runner, this other comic, and Freddie came up, or no, maybe he was just visiting like during the day, because at that point he was
Yeah.
already working, and he came up to say hello, and they were having a cake, and she goes, everybody can have a piece of cake except for Freddie's fat. He's like, Jesus, I just came by to say hello. She would give him cake.
She's looking out for people.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He was
she
filming
told Jack
something.
Grayman, you should wear a yellow suit and call yourself Jackie Banana.
I just told him. She made him.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
would
he
freak
did
out.
it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
never
then
knew that.
He would
I
he
only
would
knew
go
him
on.
as Jackie Bananas.
That's
Get out of town.
For real.
I never knew he did it.
Well, he would go on stage, and if he didn't have that on, she would give him the light and yell. So he put it on,
Yeah.
and everybody called him Jackie Banana. Like he
Oh
would be
my
like,
God.
just to
I
do a
never
main
knew he
room
did it.
spot.
Yeah.
But to get the main
When
room,
was this?
like
It
in
must-
the 90s?
Yeah, it's after I quit working the door because I would have remembered if he did it while I was
No,
working
I
the
don't
door.
think he did it. I think
Yeah.
she just was like going through her. He better put it on because it was in the office
Right.
till I quit at least, and that's 2005. So but then he left, and
Yeah.
I think he went to Florida or something. But it just always made me laugh. Like this poor guy has to wear this sequence banana and yellow jacket.
Oh my God!
I loved all the Mitzi wardrobe preferences.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she used to wear that. One night she came in and she had on this
Oh, her
checker.
own were amazing.
Yeah, she had on this checkered thing, looked like a tablecloth. And
It
Harris
probably
Pete
was.
walked up to her and took out a $20 bill. Goes, "Here, Mitzi, go get yourself a dress. I won't have you wearing the tablecloth. That thing costs $800.
Yeah.
Get it.
Well,
She
she would tell comics because it wasn't just him. Like she told Louis Anderson he should always wear a sweater.
Yeah.
You're a sweater comic.
Did
He
she?
was like,
Did she ever give you one?
No.
He had
She
to wear,
left,
he had to
she
wear the
left
Comedy
me
Store
pretty much
uniform.
alone. She
I
would
can
say, she
imagine that.
mentioned one time, and this is how the conversation actually went. You know, I was thinking maybe I ain't wearing no fucking uniform, Mitzi.
Oh, she would try to.
Yes,
oh,
I ain't
don't
wearing no
believe that.
fucking uniform, Mitzi.
would
I ain't wearing no
believe
fucking camouflage. I had to. I'm not doing it now. I
Oh.
thought it might be a good idea.
She passed this Middle Eastern.
She used to
com-
think that I was going to flip out.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I mean, I
So
think
I just
the
kind of
freedom
rode
you were-
that. I
yeah.
just kind of rode that.
You let him do what he
Yeah,
wants.
you know, he's got that Agent Orange.
gotta
thing.
deal with that.
That's his Agent Orange.
Keep to my old Suki
Yeah.
away from him.
I ain't wearing no goddamn uniform, Mitzi. Okay.
she passed this Persian comic, this Middle Eastern guy,
Yeah.
Maj
Maz
Jobrani.
Jobrani, and then she told him that he should wear the full headdress.
Right. Turban and all that.
Turban, yeah, and he was like, yeah, okay. And then he was so worried because he was like, I told her I would do it, but I don't want to do
His
that.
family would be
Yeah,
humiliated.
they'd
I mean,
shoot
there's
him.
so many
People would
things.
shoot him.
That was how he got out of it. He
Was-
told
they
her,
were
he goes,
attacking people in front
Right,
of the
yeah.
federal building.
So he's yeah.
He said, I can't do
I
it right
remember
now.
hearing
Mitzi."
about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we interviewed him a couple months. I forgot all those stories because I
Yeah.
forgot, like, he would have to call in, and he was like a young comic, wanting to be the store, and all these great comics had come out of the store, and he wanted to be part of it. And she's like, yeah, you should wear a turban. He's like, what?
I nipped it in the bud.
No, see, you're smart. And then she
Right, I
kept
just
bringing
said, I
it
told
up
her.
to
I said
him.
I had to. I'm not wearing a goddamn uniform. Period. Okay.
All right.
Aw.
Before she ever said it, I
Yeah.
knew where she was going with it.
You
No,
seem pretty sure of it. I'll allow it.
You've done so many movies with Adam Sandler,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Everybody break your stones to do Waterboy?
On the time I was in the field. I used to open like that. By the time I was in the field, quiet back around here, play back game, Bobby say thank him.
Actually,
And
I
the people
do
would
remember
cheer.
that.
And if they were an old audience and they would just sit there, I
Like,
go, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. do you?"
It was by far the best
Yeah.
character in the
Yeah,
whole
because I
movie.
figured people would always want you to do that
Yeah.
character.
Home
It's
away you
so
make it.
great. And meanwall, you're so great in the other movies too. It's just
What
like
was it?
they
I-
pick
you
that
got to
one.
Was
give
it
the people
defensive
what they
court?
want. You know, that's what they want.
Were you the defensive coordinator? Is that what it was in the
Yeah,
movie?
something like
Yeah.
that. It was just Coach Farmer Friend.
Yeah,
It started off where he was just, the character was just a farmer
right,
on the side of the road
Wow.
and who knew Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
right.
And they liked what I did with it, so they made me a coach. So that I would be there all the time. Yeah.
Give him more screen
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think I love that about Adam. I don't know him at all, but I mean that he would
Yeah.
put that, like,
He's
take
a
that.
great guy.
But everybody says the same thing about him. If there's
Yeah.
like a little choice you make,
Yeah.
then he builds it,
Right.
or changes
Yes.
it, or switches
And
up.
he's fiercely loyal.
Yes,
Yeah,
which
he's
is
the same
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Always uses the same crew. That's why,
Yeah.
like, you can trust his movies too. That
Right.
like, oh, they're gonna be great because this one's gonna be in it, that one's gonna be in it. It's gonna be Awesome.
I love that you gave the crowd what they wanted too.
Yeah.
I remember watching Charles Fleischer.
Yeah.
And I was like, why doesn't he do Roger Rabbit if that's what they bring him up? They're like, he's not allowed to. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah, I guess the studio that owns the rights came and told him to stop doing it. And then a couple of years
Nobody
ago,
ever told me not to do Farmer Friend.
No.
yeah, I think Adam Sandler is probably in charge.
Would say, hey, goddammit!
You just let him do his thing.
I was in Best Buy and I suddenly heard Roger Rabbit voice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm like, is someone doing it? I looked around the corner and it was Charles Fleischer performing for 2 employees. One of them loving it and the other one looking at him like, who the fuck is this guy?
We used to say that, and we knew him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's
He worked
strange
here a
dude.
lot.
He is. He's one of the people that I used to really harass as
Yeah.
Argus.
You have to.
And
I mean-
people, Charles would come up to me after and be like, "Hey man, why are you messing with me?" I'd be like, "Shut up, Chucky. I don't want to hear it." My goodness, are you Argus Hamilton?
He got I mean we tell this story a lot, but Rick does the Argus thing so much that he did it to Robin Williams, and Robin
Whoa.
was like, "Holy shit!"
That's scary. Oh, brother.
Yeah, I saw him in the hallway,
Fantastic.
and I was like, "Oh, this is my only way I'm gonna be able to talk to him." So I just walked over and go, "Hey, Robin, the Todd's looking for you. He said you owe him $1,800." I just lit up. He ran out the hallway and back in. He's like, "How the hell do you know who I bought Coke from?" Well, he's not
We do our
happy.
research.
I did a thing one night back. Robin was on stage, and he was once he gets going, he ain't getting off.
Yeah.
So it's like 2:30,
Oh wow!
and the waitresses are complaining, "Oh, we're gonna be here all night." I said, "You want to get him off? I'll get him off. You can't give him the light." So I went, like Mooney.
Yeah.
And he went, "Oh, I gotta go. Good night. Oh, Mr. Mooney's here." That was the only person he'd get off for was Mooney.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
So I would do that.
Would he get off and be like,
Yes.
"He's not here, you fuckers"?
He never knew who did it.
Oh, he just knew.
Yeah,
I
he just
love
thought
that.
Mooney was there.
Yeah, that is true. Anybody would just be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Mr. Mooney's here."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've tried to get Mooney on too. He's just
Mr. Mooney.
Mr.
How's he
Mooney.
doing? How's he doing?
podcast?
How's Mooney doing?
He's good. He did a show here 2 summers ago. It was sold out in the main room. It was great.
But I heard that he.
Yeah,
was-
I think so. I think he's not doing great.
Okay.
But his people that I spoke to were like, yeah, and then they just slowly blew me off. But I thought maybe it's just a lot
Yeah.
to travel. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, he's not young.
No,
God love him.
I'm not young.
And what?
I'm older than dirt.
You have a young soul then.
I have a very old soul.
I love the.
Every
Is
young
that
soul
all
ever has that growl in them.
She calls it my Frankenstein.
How many children do you
Review.
guys have?
Two.
Just 2. Okay.
Two
'cause
sons. They 40, 44 and 34.
that's the one. The 34 is who I was doing stand up with, I
Nick.
believe.
No, Travis.
Travis was
Yeah.
doing stand up.
Yeah.
He's 34.
Yeah,
Or
44.
44.
Travis
Oh
is
wow, I would never make him that age. Because we used to do stand up a lot
Yeah.
together. We'd like random shows here and there, and then
Yeah.
I'd see him for a while, and I was like, he probably smartened up and realized this is a dead end.
He's doing something. What's he doing? What? Oh yeah, he does
Audio
podcasts
engineer.
for people. He's
Oh,
an audio
how amazing
engineer.
is that?
Yeah.
We could.
He
we could
produces
use him.
podcasts. That's what he does.
Is he
We
looking
could
for a new
use him.
job?
Oh, hey,
And then-
Todd, I didn't
and
see
then
you in
my
there.
youngest son does works for Activision.
Okay.
See, she knows.
I was gonna say,
I
What do
never
the
even
kids do,
I never even knew his teachers' names. I was on the road all the time. I knew where he went to school.
that's
That's
good
amazing.
enough.
Well, you
That's
would
good
send the checks. Here's the
Yeah.
checks. Come
Then
to
they
school.
and then he would say she'd be talking about somebody. Go, no, who is that? His teacher. Oh, okay.
His
I understand why they're
friend.
mad, but just real quick, who is that exactly?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's got to be. So he doesn't do stand up as much. Like,
He still does it, but
Oh,
not as
okay.
much. Not as much because he's working now.
yeah.
For the
Well, it's
podcast.
smart. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. It's like I've met so many people. Actually, Adam's Sandler's nephew.
Yeah,
I used to do
Jared.
No, Jared does stand up now,
Yeah.
but Tyler Spindler.
Oh,
Spin-
really?
What was this? He was doing stand up for a
Really?
while, and we would do shows in the belly room. And I
Cool.
thought this kid's great.
Cool.
And then he quit, and he's making big movies. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this little shit smartened
Son of a
up,
bitch.
Yeah.
and
Listen, talk to them. Tell them I'm willing to quit comedy if they can let me make big movies.
yeah, Jared. I tell Jared all the time, I'm like, please send my love to Tyler, because we used to have so much fun. Like, I was brand new. I'm doing stand up 12 years now,
Yeah.
but he was just starting as well, and he would talk about going to Harvard, and his mother's furious
Right,
with him
yeah.
that he's doing stand up. I was like, that's awful. I didn't even go to college, and my mom's furious
Yeah.
with me. So that's
what are you
amazing.
going to do if you go out there and fail? That's what my mother said. What are you
Does
going to
she?
do if you go out there and fail? What am I going to do if I go out and succeed?
Do you have
Comedy, either way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Do you have a lot of brothers and sisters, or?
Everybody's dead. I'm
Jesus, you sound like my dad.
I'm the sole survivor of my unit.
Of every crew.
Yeah. No, there's a
love
few
these
people in my
ideas.
unit made it through, but not many.
There you go. Yeah,
My brother's dead. My mother's dead. My father's dead. My cousins are dead. All my uncles are dead. They were dead before I was born.
wow.
One was killed in Okinawa. The other one died of spinal meningitis at age 17.
Well, I'm sorry
All my
I asked.
grandparents are long dead.
I didn't mean to ask. I
It's
guess.
okay. I'm still here.
And here for the obituaries
Yes.
is
I'm still here.
Blake knows every
In
dead
our,
person.
I know a
ever.
lot of dead people.
He's met
in
all
our
the dead
obit
people.
sex. That's unbelievable. No, my family's insanely large. That's why I was curious.
No,
and I have a
just-
lot of military in my family.
Yeah.
Like my dad went into the Marines so he could kill people and not have to go to jail for it. So that's
Right.
smart.
That's
It's a good,
like Argus
You
said.
got stuck.
Join the
going.
Marines, meet interesting people, and kill them. That was one of Argus's jokes.
You better believe it. No. Oh, I don't know why I did an Argus. That was like a.
Do it as Argus.
Join the Marines, meet interesting people, and then kill them. All right, everyone. Mitch has a great show for you.
Mitch has a great show.
It always just goes back to
Mitch-
Mitch
sometimes-
having a great show because he still did it like 3 years ago, and the whole crowd are like 28-year-olds. I'm like, who the fuck is Mitch? What is this guy talking about?
Or Rick would do him regular Argus or drunk Argus. It would depend. So
Well, it started just regular Argus. I went on the road with Paulie. And Paulie would tell me these stories about, Argus, he used to sleep with my mom and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh. And then he'd make me go do morning radio with him. And then
My
they'd be like, is
favorite
this your
story.
opener? He'd be like, that's Argus Hamilton. And then I'd have to be like, oh. And they'd always, it was a regular occurrence that
Did you know he was going to do that?
eventually I did. The first
Yeah.
time he did, I had no idea. But they would always try and make Paulie
Yeah.
look dumb. So
Right.
they'd always be like, Paulie, we do this trivia thing. And then Paulie would just sit there and he'd never have any of the answers because he grew up in the comedy store.
right.
And so then he'd always be like, oh, Argus is going to do it. And then I'd have to do this thing. Do you know who was in charge of the army? Generalissimo Francisco Franco. And they'd be like, yeah, that's right. Then Argus or Paulie would be like, dude, how do you know the answers to that stuff? I'd be like, I was a nerd. I don't know. And so then it was just, I would do Argus because everyone was like, you can't make fun of Argus because Mitzi, and him have a relationship.
yeah.
So you can make fun of anyone but Argus. So then I was a
Of course.
21-year-old
Yeah.
kid. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to make fun of Argus then.
Right.
And so then Johnny Carson
He's not
died.
going to wear a uniform.
And I ain't
No.
wearing a uniform.
Hell no.
And then Johnny Carson died, and then my impression decided it was time to get drunk that night. And then the impression just stayed intoxicated.
That's
so
funny.
it was always just wasted Argus yelling at people.
It's always pistol whipping.
That's the
hookers.
one I met.
It was
That's the one
me,
you meant.
Kip Adata,
Wait a
Vic
minute.
Dunlap. We were doing thunder bumps of cocaine.
Okay.
A young Todd Bridges. It was always just the most
Like, he
absurd
would-
scenario.
Yeah.
But I love that he would remember who these people were. Because
Right.
I'm like, there's no way you met Todd
I
Bridges.
remember one of the first nights I worked the door, back door. There's this big, tall black guy comes in, and he's got a gun.
Okay.
Big 45,
Nice.
ivory handle 45.
Whoa.
So I go, Argus, that guy's got a gun. And he goes, Oh, it's okay. He's the coke dealer. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, good.
Sure.
Oh,
Is there
okay.
any other, like heroin dealers?
He's the guy with the machete. So
Yeah, okay. Just let me know.
golden
I
triangle.
won't bother him.
I love that. Makes it okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on intense drugs. Okay, then he should keep a firearm.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely. I know you do Vegas a lot. Do you do the road elsewhere?
I haven't been doing the road lately, so
Okay.
no.
I know you go to the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, you go to
that's
the
where
Laugh
I got
Factory
to see
in
you and
Vegas.
Harris.
Yeah.
That was
I
a
only
great
went
show.
because Harris and Rich Hall
Hall.
were going to be there, so that's why I went.
That's like a fun meeting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
lately at Harry's in Las Vegas, it's like the Comedy Store
I know.
hangout. It's
It
so
is.
much fun.
I saw pictures. It's like, wait, it was JJ and
yeah.
and George Wallace and Louie and
Yeah. They all just
It's
stop
great.
by.
Yeah,
they
I
do
know, it's
karaoke with them.
Brian Regan and
Brian Regan
Yeah.
came. Wait, did Brian ever work the store? I don't know.
I don't
him
know
from
if he
here.
did or not, but he goes by there all the time.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
He went on. He did a guest spot with
Yeah.
us, and I was like, when I was headlining, and I was like, no, I gotta follow Brian Regan.
He-
He was just working out a 5-minute late night spot,
Yeah.
and I was like,
He's such a nice guy, though.
So
He's
nice.
Such a great guy.
coolest
when
guy.
I was a doorman, Barry Katz used to do that Sunday main room show,
Yeah.
and Regan he was on it every
okay.
week.
Yeah.
So I always assumed he was a store guy, but then someone was like, no, he doesn't go up in the OR. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
just
"Oh."
never saw him. I just never. I mean,
I don't think
he
ever went
became
on
a
here. He may
huge
have, but
success.
I never saw him.
He's a giant success. Doesn't
hell,
even
he
matter.
And
He's
Dennis, he's even so big. Dennis is big.
Dennis Blair.
Dennis Regan,
oh,
his
Dennis
brother.
Regan, his brother.
Yeah.
I was like, that's hilarious. I
Yeah.
mean, I love
He's
Dennis
not,
Blair
I was
as
gonna
well.
say he's not pulling a Gallagher and just pretending he's Brian Regan.
No, he's
That
Dennis.
happens a
He goes
lot.
by. I know, but no.
That nut. We had to throw him out of here.
Gallagher.
It could have been Gallagher. It could have been his brother. I don't know. But one of them got thrown out.
I remember I walked in the back sacred ground one night to go smoke pot, and I opened the door and walked back there, and it was just Gallagher sitting by himself.
Smoking.
Yeah, and I was like, "Whoa, what's this guy doing?" And then he goes, "Hey, I'm Gallagher." I go, "I know who you are, man. How you doing?" He goes, "You want to hear a poem about suicide?" I was like,
Okay.
I
Not
guess.
tonight.
Yeah. I mean,
As he's tying
from
a noose.
you, I guess so. It's different
As
than
he's
smashing
spinning a
watermelons.
revolver.
Is that for me or you, Gallagher?
Who's coming? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I just remember he read the poem and was
He
like,
did it?
"Oh yeah." It was like a
He ate
haiku
them.
about suicide. I'm like,
Okay.
"That's interesting, man."
That's
I'm gonna go.
Do you do social media? Any of that stuff? Like Facebook,
Not really. No.
anything like
I
that?
am on Facebook.
I got a spot. So
Oh, good for you.
Go, have fun.
Get up there, Ricky.
Kill.
They're
Take no
calling him.
prisoners.
We're gonna wrap it
No
up
uniform.
anyways. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to do. No uniform.
Yeah, I'm
for
on
Rick.
Facebook, but I don't
Just
really.
Blake Clark.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
You don't do Twitter. None of that nonsense.
I
Instagram.
tweet sometimes, but not
Okay,
often.
but you're on Twitter because
Yeah,
they'll put your
I'm on-
Twitter handle
yeah.
up so that
It's
because this
the
is
real Blake Clark or something like that.
The real Blake Clark.
Is it or at? I don't know. Social media.
We'll have
I'm
to
not
get
very
the kids
social.
to do it. That's what I do.
I'm
I-
on anti-social media.
I grew up in a
I'm not wearing a goddamn uniform.
I grew up in a typewriter store, so it's hard for me
Yeah.
to do any of that stuff. Like I do it, but I reluctantly
Yeah,
do it.
I understand.
I can't. It's too much. It's like, did you put anything post today? I'm like, I forgot. I was busy.
I don't. Yeah.
But if you don't, then they won't come to your show. I'm like, too bad. It's gonna sell out anyway. There's other comics on better than me.
That's right. I am. And like
Well, especially
the
here.
last thing
I don't
I
have to
posted,
promote.
it said, "You haven't posted in a while. You
Yes!
should write a post." So I wrote a post and put it on.
Good for you. I get that. They're like, oh, you haven't posted in a while. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I just put a stupid picture up a couple
Right,
days ago.
yeah.
Like, you weren't happy with that?
So I put
But
a
apparently
post.
it didn't go up. I didn't hit send or whatever. That happens all day with me.
I know.
Anyway, well, thank you
Thank
so
you for having
much
me.
for coming. And you're going to be on YouTube, so you'll be a YouTube sensation.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't-
Right.
They
Oh,
just,
so I got we got 21st
yeah.
of
What date?
June. Toy Story 4 is coming out.
Wow.
And that.
Oh, I
So,
didn't.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the character? Somebody just
Slinky
said
Dog.
it's Slinky Dog.
In fact,
Yes.
Jim Varney was Slinky Dog in 1 and 2, and I'm Slinky Dog in 3 and 4.
Wow.
So that's this trick, little boys and girls. That's the trick to this business. Outlive your friends, you get their parts.
Outlive your friends, you get their parts, but also you would get the part anyway. You're amazing,
I don't
and
know. Barney was great.
Barney was
I'd
great.
rather not be Slinky and have
Got
Barney
it.
still alive. So.
Harris P. always spoke so highly of it. It was his favorite comic.
Yeah. Barney.
So,
what time is it? Is Zorro on? Why don't you make some fudge? What time is it? Are you cooking beans? What time is it?
yeah, I've only heard great things about him. I never really got to see him perform live.
Very bright guy too.
Yeah, funny.
He would say that he was a historical genius.
Okay.
He used to just mention a day. I can tell you what happened on that day. And so you'd say something like May 32nd, May 31st, 1232. And if he didn't know, he'd go, "You picked it one day, nothing happened."
That's amazing.
So you could never trick him. You could never stump him because he either knew or if he didn't know. You picked the one day, nothing happened.
That's amazing. Rick's like that. Rick's weird like that. Like he's so smart. He always comes. That's why on that radio show, that guy was in shock. Paulie said when he started answering those questions, like ridiculous foreign policy questions and things like that, that they were trying to make Paulie look stupid. Argus/Rick made him look even worse. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. The great Blake Clark. Rick had to go upstairs and, do his shenanigans. Come to the Comedy Store, rate, subscribe, watch Toy Story 4. I'm sure everybody will. That's amazing. I don't know where I'll be. Just go to my website, eleanorjkerrigan.com. Phoenix House of Comedy. That's where I am, right? Phoenix House of Comedy, April 24th through the 28th. And the Comedy Club in Kansas City, April 4th through the 6th, if this isn't already out. I did that backwards, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's who I am.
Whatever.
I'm not smart. Rate, subscribe, shit on us, whatever you want to do. All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Do you like that? Rate, subscribe.
Yeah, rate, subscribe, shit on it. I get one.
Oh, God. It's so hot. Be careful of the lizard people.